jumped up when I came in the door and scratched my leg.
How did it go?
She was excited. After the speaking that day, wanted to let me know with a little blood. Everybody sick, everybody good?
That's better than trying to
Good evening. It's my privilege to call to order this meeting of the Allegheny Highlands School Board. Let's begin with a moment of silence and pledge. Stand, please. Pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have additions to the agenda tonight. I'd like to announce the following additions. Under item 26-20, addition to the agenda, Mountain View Elementary Emergency Response Update will be added. This will be included in the commendations and awards and inserted after item 2601. Item 26-26, consider approval of superintendent's designees, will also be added. This is an action item and will be included in the administrative reports and recommendations and inserted after item 2611. This will be an action item. Roll call, please.
Mr. Eric.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Franson.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Littleton.
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Morgan. Here. Mrs. Scruggs Duncan. Mr. Umstead.
Here.
And Mr. Woodson.
Here.
Thank you. We'll be beginning tonight with some commendations and awards. And just for a point of clarity, it's my honor to serve as the temporary chairperson as we reorganize today. So just wanted to make sure everyone understood why I was beginning the meeting. And we do have 2 commendations as well as a policy revision that need to go ahead of the reorganization tonight. First, we have a commendation for the recognition of the Virginia College Advising Corps Advisor of the Year. And I believe Mr. Dwayne Ross and Ms. Vicki Dooley will be helping us get that started. This is a real privilege for me, both in my professional role and as a parent, to see Sarai Warwick win this award.
Members of the school board, Ms. Halterman, Ms. Snead Johnson, and other distinguished guests, it is my pleasure to introduce you tonight to Ms. Sarai Warwick. Ms. Warwick is the college advisor assigned to Allegheny High School by the Virginia College Advising Corps. The Virginia College Advising Corps uses a near-peer model to help students determine their path after high school. Each advisor is a recent college graduate and is able to work in their assigned school for a period of 2 years. Ms. Warwick has worked with our students since January of 2024. She's a graduate of Washington and Lee University and holds a bachelor's degree in cognitive and behavioral science. She leaves Allegheny at the end of this school year, and will be pursuing a master's in public policy at the University of Virginia. While at Allegheny, Ms. Warwick has been a very valuable asset to our students and to our staff. She has helped our students decide on their path after high school. She's helped them with college applications, scholarship applications, applications to apprenticeships and trade schools, and also applications for employment. She's beloved by the student body and can usually be found in the student section at Allegheny events, and she's also beloved by the guidance staff. She has also been nominated by our school division for the Governor's Community Service Award, and she didn't know that until tonight, and we're waiting to see how that comes out, but we're very hopeful that we have a winner in Ms. Warwick. Here to tell you a little bit more about the work that she does are 2 of our students who can share how she has helped them this school year. We have with us Meredith Minter and Mason Hall. Which one of you wants to go first?
My name is Meredith Minter, and I'm so lucky to have had Ms. Warwick as my college advisor these past 2 years. Every time I needed help on applying for scholarships, looking at colleges and information on what a college offered, she was right there to help and encourage me. I had a difficult school year with health issues and keeping up with my classes, but every day Ms. Warwick would greet me with a smile on her face and a positive outlook. Ms. Warwick made my rough day so much better and has been such a light to our school system.
I first want to say congratulations to Ms. Warwick for receiving this award, and she deserves it. You helped every single student in the school realize their potential and help guide them through the difficult process of college applications. But you did more than that. You were a friend to so many students, someone we could trust and talk to. No one in the school is as understanding and compassionate as you. Someone who put up with their teenage issues, everyone's teenage issues, and for me, my long back and forth on what I was going to do with my future after high school. You were always in your office willing to take a break from your work to help other students with theirs, and your work ethic is inspiring. Your dedication to assisting students, hosting meetings for parents, planning fun events with games, raffles, prizes, and some of my favorite memories with you are making our doors every season. Even though we were robbed of first place every single time, we were robbed and we deserved it. I'll miss being your shadow, and good luck to UVA. Thank you.
Just on behalf of everyone, congratulations. More importantly, thank you for everything you've done for us. 'Cause you've done a wonderful job for all of us, and we appreciate it. And like Ms. Dooley said, there wasn't an event we did not see you at. So you definitely supported us all. Thank you.
If I can tag on to that, Melinda and I are aware this is the first time this honor, the statewide honor from the Virginia College Advising Corps has been awarded. And we can't help but think that that's in part because of how fabulous Sarai is. We knew from out the gate that she was going to be incredible for all of our students and our staff. And we're very hopeful she'll remain a friend to the Allegheny Highlands as she goes on other adventures. It's good to know people in high places with policy degrees. So we're excited for you. Belinda, did you want to add anything to that?
And I echo what Ms. Halterman just said. And we in Covington were able to have a college advising person, and that was an outstanding person. But I have to agree that you've risen above and beyond, and the students love you, and I think the staff loves you, and we're so proud of what you've done for us. And carry on. And UVA is not that far away from Allegheny Highlands Public Schools, so we'll see you at some events in the near future.
Fantastic. Fantastic. We're just so very happy for you, and again, we say that personally and professionally, because you've been able to touch the lives of many of the children in our families, and we're just really thankful for you. You've got to let us give you a round of applause, and Daryl's going to want to take a picture. And members of the media and or Daryl, Sarai has a lot of guests who come to cheer her on tonight. I don't know if we want to get a picture of all of them together. Is that appropriate? Are we able to do that?
I'll get one over with the kids.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Do you want us to do that at this moment or after following the next recognition?
That's the next one.
All right, very good. So our next recognition tonight is from Mountain View Elementary, and this is an addition to the agenda. This is an update on a response to a recent situation. And Ms. Thompson is here from the school to speak to us directly about that. So we'll give the floor to her.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm the principal of Mountain View, Mallory Thompson, in case you didn't know that. In our county, we strive to celebrate our successes, and I didn't want to miss the opportunity to say some proper thank yous. So a week ago, we had an incident at our beautiful school. At 5:49 on Tuesday, we had a small fire that was quickly suppressed by our sprinkler system. I've learned many things in my 3 years plus at Mountain View, but I didn't realize when you turn off a sprinkler, it doesn't just turn off like a faucet. So we are so lucky that the fire did not damage more of our building, and even luckier that we didn't have kids in the building for summer school that early. But we do have a good bit of water. There was a little bit of smoke too, so a lot of work. But I wanted to take time to thank our community first. Our firefighters from 4 different departments jumped out of bed and answered the call. Clifton Forge Fire Department and Rescue Squad, Selma Volunteer Fire Department, Sharon Volunteer Fire Department, and Covington Fire Department. I am grateful to be part of a community where people are willing to just jump up without hesitation and risk their lives. They certainly didn't know what they were walking into that morning. Our maintenance crews and custodians from all over the division showed up with fans, machines, and their strong work ethic to help us clean up water and move furniture. Shane Reed, Chris Fisher, Jonathan Fitch, the Director of Public Safety, spent most of the day with us as well. Jennifer Rather from AHS, of course Amy Dew and Tammy Looney, all rolled up their sleeves to move books from the library and other items out of the way. ServPro showed up quickly and remains at Mountain View every day, cleaning up water even on the weekends. Now they're into a little bit more than just water cleanup, but all the principals and assistant principals who answered my calls and texts or just checked in, Cindy Morgan and Dee Tickner and the wonderful staff at Judah Watson got everything together so quickly to accommodate us so that summer school could be moved and have been welcoming us so graciously this week. Melinda and Kim, who never stopped asking what they could do and pitched in to assist and continue encouraging and help us. I know that most people I mentioned volunteer for this, or this is their job, but for me, it's the above and beyond that I witnessed on Tuesday, and I continue to. It's quite inspiring. I'm sure there's tons of people that I have not mentioned, and I apologize, but please know that everybody pitched in, and we certainly appreciate it. This could have been a lot worse. I'm so glad that it wasn't, but there still is quite a bit of work to be done at our school before we welcome students and staff back. If you know me, I thank God every day for the fire and police that protect us here at home and the troops that protect us around the world. But certainly this week is an extra special time to be thankful for this country and grateful for our beautiful community. So I just wanted to go on record and say thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This is a shift in our agenda to a policy topic. So I realize we have two things that are just moments of gratitude, and we may need some photographs. So I wanted to take an appropriate pause for that. Daryl, if you need anybody's time before I move forward into that next week.
It's Ryan and the kids.
Very good. If the board is comfortable continuing, I'm happy to continue on to the policy revision we need to handle before the reorganization. All right, so I bring you tonight an item for action that we've seen on previous agendas. This is a consideration of a revision to policy BCA. BCA is in the governance section, so this is a policy that relates to how the school board functions primarily, and to a lesser extent to how the superintendent functions. And so the board had indicated it wished to consider its reorganization timeline, specifically the appropriateness of reorganizing in January rather than July. And so we've been considering for the past couple of meetings a potential revision for a January reorganization rather than a July reorganization. In Virginia, a school board reorganization or organizational meeting is an annual event, and it can occur in either month. So if the board determines through this policy, this proposed policy change tonight, to move its reorganization to January, just for clarity, wanting to remind everyone the board will still need to reorganize in July 2025, that would be today, because appointments for your leadership positions on the board can only last 1 year, and so they were last appointed a year ago. So the board can still reorganize in January 2026, just if you're hearing this meeting, and that's the decision that the board makes, you'll hear motions that limit the service a bit down to about 6-month term instead of 1 year, so that can be possible. That would also mean that we would need to add a meeting in early January 2026, hypothetically, if the board wishes to reorganize because only the regular meeting is currently scheduled in January. So that would mean an addition to our meeting calendar, and we want to make sure that that's clear. So that is the presentation of that policy update. I think people are seeing on the screen. You can get this online, and if you're call any of us if you ever have trouble finding it. And with that said, is there discussion?
I think,
motion of any kind?
yeah,
Sorry.
we've talked about it, I think, amongst ourselves. I know I've had several conversations with people on the board. For when we moved from appointed to elected, and now, of course, elected board members take their seats in January, it does make, I think, practical sense to move the reorganization. So, happy to hear what anybody else thinks. I just want to say that I agree with Ms. Barrett. I'm good to move it to January 1 when new board members are appointed. Since we're going to elected where we were appointed, we started our service in July 1. But typically in our July meeting, we do reappoint like the committees, like the budget committee, and me personally, I would like to see those stay with the school year, just because it goes on throughout the school. And if someone does go off and is on that, then we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But I think it's better to cross that bridge every now and then than crossing it every year.
Nobody else has anything to say. I'll move for approval of policy BCA as presented.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made, properly seconded. Roll call, please.
Mr. Aaron.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Freeze.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Littleton.
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Morgan.
Yes.
Mr. Umstead.
Yes.
And Mr. Whitson.
Yes.
Motion passes. All right. Make sure I'm organized here. All right, this section begins the annual reorganization of tonight's meeting agenda. And again, with that policy in mind, this does mean the board will engage in this kind of activity again in January, just for clarity. It's customary for the superintendent to serve as chair, so that's why I'm doing that. I'm serving as chair very temporarily until the board elects a new chairperson. Certainly my honor to do so, and just for clarity, once the board's elected a chair, I'll hand the gavel to that person, or that person can come up, whatever is his or her preference, for the remainder of the meeting. On behalf of Melinda and I, we just continue to express our gratitude to the board, and it's always a good time to do that. Our current chair and vice chair have done a lot of work this year, and we really appreciate that, and we appreciate the service of each member of the school board as well. So we just wanted to take a moment to say that. Again, for clarity, at this time under Robert's rules, I'd open the floor for nominations. If more than one nomination is made, we could conduct a roll call vote, and each board member would state the name of the nominee that he or she wishes to elect. If no nominee receives a majority, we have to continue to vote until one does. That's in accordance with Robert's Rules of Order. And it's been our history that we vote pretty quickly after nominations. That all of that said, are there nominations this evening?
I'd like to make a statement real quick. I just want to say it's been my honor and privilege to be the chairman this past year, but it's definitely had its challenges and its ups and downs, and it has definitely taken a toll on my family and my business, and that's why I just want to say out publicly that I do not wish to be chairman this year. Thank you.
We very much appreciate it, Jeff. Thank you.
I have a question. I can't recall. Do we do each position and vote it, or do we make not? But we finish the chair part and then we start.
As soon as the chair part is finished, they'll take over the
Okay.
meeting.
All right.
I'd like to make a comment on what John said. John, I really appreciate it. You did a good job. For my first time on the board, you did a very good job.
Thank you.
Through all the turmoil we went through in those 4 or 6 months I was there, you did a very good job. Thank you.
Floor for nomination.
Yes, sir.
Floor is open for nominations. Yes, sir.
To nominate Jonathan Eric.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
So, having gotten nearly 5,000 votes, 62% of those that voted in the recent election in Allegheny County, having won every district that was held in Allegheny County, I'd like to nominate Bob Umstead.
Thank you. I don't believe the nomination requires a second. Is that correct?
It does not.
That's all right. That's all right. Not a big deal. Just making sure I keep it myself. Following all the nice notes Karen made me.
Just do we need to clarify that these nominations are to be till December 31st? Just to clarify, then we will have the reorganization.
Yes, it's very helpful. Very helpful. And that goes back to, again, just for clarity for anybody who's watching video later or something of that nature, to the policy just approved. So when we make motions, we will be noting those dates.
I call the question.
All right. So this will be a roll call vote for those 2 nominated names. Is that correct, Clerk?
We have to close nominations.
Oh, we do close nominations. Apologies.
Move.
Close it. Second.
Made and properly seconded. Do we need to roll call that?
We have to roll call that. Mr. Eric.
Yes,
Mr. Franson.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Littleton.
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Morgan.
Yes.
Mr. Umstead.
Yes.
Mr. Woodson.
Yes, ma'am.
And it would be a roll call between those 2 nominees, correct? So roll call, please.
Mr. Eric.
Do I say me or Mr. Eric?
You say who you're voting for.
Whichever one you
Weird.
feel comfortable saying.
Mr. Eric, I suppose.
Mr. Eric.
Mr. Littleton.
Mr. Eric.
Mrs. Morgan.
Mr. Eric.
Mr. Umstead.
Mr. Olmsted.
Mr. Woodson.
Mr. Olmsted.
So I believe that would make Mr. Eric our chairperson. Is that correct?
Yes.
So I need to hand that gavel over, or you can come up, whichever you prefer. All right.
I'll shorten your, well, I'll come get it for you.
You're gonna need that too.
It is.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Here you go.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much, and I appreciate the confidence. I won't bore you with the speech. Gerald, you can rest easy with that one, but I would like to just thank Mr. Littleton and Mr. Franson for their service over the past year. As you stated pretty eloquently, Mr. Littleton, it hasn't been exactly an easy year. It's been some ups and downs and some difficulties, but I think you, Mr. Franson, have done a very good job in helping lead this board forward. So thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
Okay, so with that, I will open up the floor for nominations for vice chair.
I'd like to say, Mr. Littleton, thank you for your service. And I'm hoping, and you too, Mr. Franson, you've made being on the board a pleasure. I've had the pleasure of serving with Mr. Franson my entire time. And it's been a wild ride, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. But with that, Mr. Littleton, would you consider being vice chair?
Yes.
I would like to nominate Mr. Littleton for vice chair, please.
Okay.
Second.
We have nomination for Mr. Littleton by Ms. Morgan. Any further nominations?
Again, with having the overwhelming vote and confidence of Allegheny County residents, it's my pleasure to nominate Mr. Bob Olmsted as vice chairman of the school board.
Okay, we have nomination of Mr. Umstead by Mr. Woodson. Any further nominations?
And just to clarify that this is through December 31st, 2025.
Yeah, the language that we have here is immediately, to serve immediately and until such time as the board holds its next organizational meeting. So that will hold for, well, really just our 2 positions here. So
I call the question. Close it.
okay, do I have a motion to close nominations?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
And we need to roll call that, Ms. Rose.
Mr. Eric.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Franson.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Littleton.
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Morgan.
Yes.
Mr. Umstead.
Yes.
Mr. Woodson.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then roll call for position of vice chair.
Mr. Eric.
Mr. Littleton.
Mr. Franson.
Mr. Littleton.
Mr. Littleton.
Mr. Littleton.
Mrs. Morgan.
Mr. Littleton.
Mr. Umstead.
Mr. Olmsted.
Mr. Woodson.
Mr. Olmsted.
I believe that would be Mr. Littleton elected as vice chairman. So congratulations, you're not quite off the hook yet, Mr. Littleton.
The workload will definitely go down.
Okay, that would then move us on. Hopefully, we won't have to do a lot of third person with the next round here. We have some more appointments to make. We need to appoint the clerk, and Ms. Alterman, if you'll take over and help us with where we have been. And,
Sure. So our clerk keeps our board moving, keeps all these documents organized, and helps get them out to the public. So this is a very important role. So kind of joining the thanks we're sharing tonight, we really appreciate all the service of Karen Willis, who was our clerk until June 30th, and it would be our recommendation as a staff that she remain our clerk July 1.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion by Mr. Armstead, a second by Mr. Woodson.
And this would be till December 31st.
Till the next
Next
organization.
Yes,
organization.
you got it.
So next organization meeting. So have a motion and a second. Roll call, please, Ms. Rice.
Mr. Aaron.
Yes.
Mr. Franson.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Littleton.
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Morgan.
Yes.
Mr. Umstead.
Yes.
Mr. Woodson.
Yes, ma'am.
Congratulations, Ms.
Thank
Rice.
you.
All right, that would then bring us to the appointment of deputy clerk. Ms. Hoffman.
I always think this is funny that we appoint them because they get the honor to serve, I suppose, and do really valuable work for the board. We would recommend that the deputy clerk continue to be Fred Vaughn, who's also very capably served in that role for several years now.
Okay.
So moved.
I was going to say, do I have a motion for Mr. Vaughn? We have a motion by Mr. Umstead and a second by Mr. Woodson, I think I heard.
Yes, sir.
Roll call, please, Ms. Phillips.
Mr. Aaron.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Franson.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Littleton.
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Morgan.
Yes.
Mr. Umstead.
Mr. Vaughn, you did want me to say that, didn't you? Yes.
Mr. Woodson.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much. That would then bring us to the designation of recorders.
So, Chairman Aaron and members of the board, we would recommend that your recorders also be your clerks. So that would be Karen and Fred serving in that role as needed.
Very good. Do I have a motion to that effect?
So moved, and they do an excellent job.
They're doing amazing.
I'll second that.
Excellent job.
Motion by Mr. Umstead, second by Ms. Morgan. Roll call, please, Ms. Phillips.
Mr. Aaron.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Franson.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Littleton.
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Morgan.
Yes.
Mr. Umstead.
Yes.
And Mr. Woodson.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you very much. That would then bring us to appointment of one representative and one alternate to the governing board of the Jackson River Governor's School. Ms. Morgan, you're currently serving in that capacity. So this is the point in the meeting where you would volunteer to do that
I'm
again?
happy to do it unless somebody else has a burning desire.
Okay.
Can I ask what that entails?
A meeting every couple of months. They usually cancel some.
Okay.
It's not much.
It's and I forget all of the localities involved.
Yes,
Ms. Morgan,
Rockbridge, us, Botetourt, Bath.
Yeah,
and
all the
Anderson.
localities come together for the governor's school.
And where's it at?
Dabney.
Dabney.
We meet at Mountain Gateway. Sorry, Mountain
That's
Gateway.
fine. I got Dabney when you said it.
So with Mrs. Morgan's willingness to serve, nobody else is
If it
volunteering?
won't offend anybody, I'll do it. Or I'll try not to offend anybody.
If he wants it, he can have it.
No, I thought you wanted two.
Well, you have to
Oh.
have, you have to have a representative and an alternate, so in case someone can't make
I
it.
will be the,
And have we typically, refresh my memory, have we done this in the designee and the alternate together?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I'll make a motion that we nominate Ms. Morgan to continue and Mr. Olmsted as alternate for the governing board of Jackson River.
Fine.
Have a motion by Mr. Woodson, do I have a second?
Second.
Second roll call, please, Ms. Rose.
Mr. Aaron.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Franson.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Littleton.
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Morgan.
Yes.
Mr. Umstead.
Yes.
Mr. Woodson.
Yes, ma'am.
Danielle, could I go with you to see this place?
Sorry, I think we had some lines run together. That would then bring us to the appointment of the delegate and alternate to the VSBA delegate convention. Okay. And that has historically been chair and vice chair, is that right?
Historically, that has been the case.
I am willing to serve in that capacity. I have attended the VSBA convention 2 out of the last 3 years. Last year I missed for a couple different reasons, but happy to serve in that capacity again. Mr. Littleton, as vice chair, would you be willing to be an alternate for that?
Yes, and just so everyone's clear, you need to attend the convention to be able to be there, because you have to be there in person to vote. That's what this is for.
Well, it sounds reasonable to attend to be there.
Oh, yes, but this, want to be clear.
I don't like breaking with history, so you need a motion?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Umstead. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Ms. Morgan. Roll call, please, Ms. Morgan.
Mr. Aaron.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Franson.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Littleton.
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Morgan.
Yes.
Mr. Umstead.
Yes.
Mr. Woodson.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much. That brings us to the appointment of 2 representatives to the Administrative Budget Committee. Currently, this committee is, the board representatives are Mr. Littleton and I. Happy to continue to serve. I think that's one of those committees to where the tempo of it kind of depends upon what's going on. So sometimes it's a time sink, sometimes not so much, but I'm happy to continue to serve Mr. Littleton.
And just so to make it clear to everyone, typically we meet it's almost monthly, and it is always typically on a weekday around 2 o'clock.
This is for the year.
Yes, this is for the full year. So
This will not change in January.
Correct. And it is my understanding that the 2 previous, well, the delegate, the convention's come up in November, so that's really not. But the governor's school would continue on through the entire year as well, for the school physical year.
Well, if you didn't meet at 2, I'd think about it, but that's my nap time, so take me off the list.
I'd be willing to volunteer too. Just throw my name in. Anybody wants to nominate?
Do you want to be nominated?
Absolutely.
And I nominate Jay.
Okay,
Let me ask you guys this, I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Do you start from scratch and build on it, or do you look at this year's and go through and do what you do? Because the budget's gotta be an awesome thing.
It's a lot. Typically, historically, we start from the previous year's budget because it gives us a little bit of working room. A lot of items don't change somewhat, other than raises, because I'm thinking 70% of our budget is about for salaries.
Yeah.
So that's a big part that's pretty cut and dry. And then the other 30% is a lot of our programs that we are somewhat already committed to, that we stay with, and then we usually have a couple $100,000 of possible changes that we see every year.
So would a new pair of eyes help? How long have you guys been doing this?
I've just been serving for the past year.
I've been on it since 20. Well, that was at Allegheny County. So I've been on a long time. I'm happy to serve with Mr. Harris. If you want to stay on, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, we're starting to get a few different combinations here. Mr. Umstead, your motion was just for one person. I'd kind of like to have a motion for 2 people. So I'm happy. Sounds like by what Mr. Littleton said, I'll probably have enough to do in the coming year. So Mr. Littleton, if you're willing to continue to serve, and if Mr. Woodson would like to serve, I see no problem with it.
So let me restack my motion. John Littleton and Jay Woodson on this committee. That way you can enjoy John's headache by yourself.
Thank you very much. So we have a motion by Mr. Umstead. I need a second.
I'll second that.
Second by Ms. Morgan. Roll call, please, Ms.
Mr. Ayers?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Franklin?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Littleton?
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Morgan?
Yes.
Mrs. Scruggs Duncan? I'm sorry, Mr. Umstead?
Yes.
And Mr. Woodson?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, that then brings us to item 2603, the provision of required Code of Virginia documents. This is for information. Ms. Alford?
Chairman Eric, members of the board, this is a procedural piece, but a very important piece. Annually, we provide you with the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, the Virginia Public Records Act, and our policy BBFA, which is the School Board Members' Conflicts of Interest and Disclosure of Economic Interests policy. So this is us following our policy manual and following the Code of Virginia by providing these to you at least once per year. So the text of our memo talks about that. It provides links. You all have physical copies as well. And just for members of the public, these are always available online. And if you need them and you can't find them, just call our office. We'll be happy to help you. As just a helpful reminder, because this is just information, every school board member needs to complete a training session for local officials and state and local government conflicts of interest. The State and Local Government Conflicts of Interest Act. It's a real tongue twister, commonly called COIA. That is also available online. It needs to be done within 2 months of assuming office and at least once every 2 years thereafter. So because of the way we were constituted as a school division, everyone on the Allegheny Highlands School Board completed their FOIA training in summer of 2023. So it's that time again. You have your link there, but we'll also email it to you so it's easy for you.
If I've done it for work and have a certificate, can you take that, or do I have to do it a second time? I just did it. Same training.
Let me check.
Okay. If I need to do it again, I'll do it again, but I just did that last week.
I think before it populated, because they keep a running list,
Yes.
I think it populated those who completed for another organization, but let me make sure.
Okay.
Did you say you were going to email us?
Yes.
I was sad, I didn't
Yes.
remember seeing it.
Yeah. With the new year just starting, it'll be one of your emails this week. And that link also will take you to it if you prefer. The link in the agenda.
Okay.
So just for information.
Okay, all right, thanks very much. That brings us to item 2604, the acceptance of the VSBA Code of Conduct. This is an action item. I suppose it would be proper for us to read that aloud, and if my contacts will allow me, I think I can read what VSBA Code of Conduct for school board members is as follows. As a member of my local school board, I will strive to be an advocate for students and improve public education, and to that end, 1, I will have integrity in all matters and support the full development of all children and the welfare of the community, Commonwealth, and the nation. 2, I will attend scheduled board meetings. 3, I will come to board meetings informed concerning the issues under consideration. 4, I will make policy decisions based upon the available facts and appropriate public input. 5, I will delegate authority for the administration of schools to the superintendent and establish a process for accountability of administrators. 6, I will encourage individual board member expression of opinion and establish an open two-way communication process with all segments of the community. 7, I will communicate in accordance with board policy, public reaction, and opinion regarding board policies and school programs to the full board and the superintendent. 8, I will bring about desired change through legal and ethical procedures, upholding and enforcing all laws, state regulations, and court orders pertaining to schools. 9, I will refrain from using the board position for personal or partisan gain and avoid any conflict of interest or the appearance of impropriety. 10, I will respect the confidentiality of privileged information and make no individual decisions or commitments that might compromise the board or administration. 11, I will be informed about current educational issues through individual study and participation in appropriate programs, such as those sponsored by my state and national school board associations. 12, I will always remember that foremost concern of the board is to improve and enhance the teaching and learning experience of all students in the public schools of Virginia. Therefore, I will strive to demonstrate appropriate behavior and conduct as a public school board member. So, with all that mouthful,
I make a motion to approve.
have a motion by Mr. Littleton. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Morgan. Roll call, please, Ms. Otis. Oh, I'm sorry.
One question real quick. Do we have a review process in place already for the administrator, or?
You mean performance review type
Yeah.
thing? Yes, typically
Okay.
that's a January item, and the school board would evaluate the superintendent.
All right.
So that's essentially our lone evaluation job, is that of the superintendent.
Step 5 is what I was asking.
The last time that was done was in this past September.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and take a look.
I
Yeah.
believe it was
You didn't do it in January.
But we
That's
didn't
when
do
we
it.
got on the board, I never saw it.
Yeah, because we did it in September this past year.
Okay.
Because we were.
It is one of those issues to where typically, and especially now with us, I think the boards, well, I may want to be careful here because there may be some parameters that boards have to stay within as far as the timing of the evaluation.
There
So
are
we'll take a
some.
closer look
Yeah.
at that. But typically, I think I'm correct in this, and Ms. Snead Johnson and Covington City days, the evaluations were historically in January.
Around about that time.
Okay.
So in January, within the time frame of when we need to do it?
I would want to double check, like before I commented outside of policy.
Thank
But,
you.
Yeah.
Best practice for school boards is typically an annual evaluation, and I think that's what the highlights that I remember from any of the board training that I've been through is that it's a disservice to everybody involved, the board and the superintendent, if we're not at least doing an annual.
And I agree.
I think we have some leeway as far as the timing goes, but I want to check on that.
And I agree 100%. It's just that when there's 2 new board members in January, and we have them do an evaluation, it's probably a little limited.
It'd probably be best if we could do it in November, December.
Okay, any other discussion about that? We had a motion and a second.
May I jump in with one quick clarification?
Yes, ma'am.
I understand part of that question is the word administration. So, but just for clarity, between Melinda and I, we make sure all of our administrators, like all the other leaders in our division have an evaluation. Just wanted that as a point of clarity. Didn't want anyone to think that that was something that wasn't getting done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, thank you.
But the board only does yours.
Correct.
That's right.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Repeat that, Gerald. The board only does hers, right?
Her,
We
correct.
got it.
She
Thank
should,
you.
her and her staff do the rest of it.
We got it, yep.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Okay, roll call please, Michelle.
Mr. Eric?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Franklin?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Littleton?
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Morgan?
Yes.
Mr. Umstead?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Woodson?
No.
All right, that brings us to 2605, location of Allegheny Highlands School Board policy manuals for information.
Yes, Chairman Eric, members of the board, this is just an annual notice, so we will always share this if somebody calls and asks us, or they need to find us on our website, but just for point of clarity, the board policy manual, a current copy of the division policies is always going to be posted on our division website. And we also ensure that printed copies of the policies are available. If someone is requesting those or someone who doesn't have online access, we're happy to help them. A written copy of the policies is also maintained in the offices of the school board clerk and in our human resources department.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions about that? Pretty straightforward. Brings us to 2606, approval of the 25-26 calendar of school board meetings and events. This is for action.
Yes, and Chairman Eric, members of the board, this is the calendar draft you've been seeing. And of course, with the policy change made this evening, you know there's going to be an addition to it, okay? So there'll be an addition in early January of next year. But this is our suggested meeting schedule. It does continue meeting dates generally on the 3rd Monday of the month. That seems to be the best thing for appropriate review of our financial information. Just provides time for a billing cycle to conclude.
It does have a January 5th reorganization.
Oh, I'm
meeting.
sorry.
Second-
I
second one
apologize.
does. There's the
Yes.
revised one.
Yep.
Get a revised one.
You're good.
So we could approve the revised one and be done with
You
it.
can. Yes, absolutely.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Got the motion by Mr. Woodson for the revised calendar, second by Mr. Umstead. Any discussion, questions about that? Roll call please, Michelle.
Mr. Eric?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Franklin?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Littleton?
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Morgan?
Yes.
Mr. Umstead?
Yes.
Mr. Woodson?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much. That brings us to 2607, the consent agenda. This is for action. This consent agenda this evening covers all overnight and out-of-state trips associated with VHSL district, regional, state, honors band, and choral competitions and other trips as described. Ms. Halterman, is there anything else to color in there?
Not a whole lot, but just wanted to make sure everybody noticed this. You know, we usually have this for the VHSL trips as well as the honors band and choral competitions. We did add in our career technical student associations or organizations, excuse me. That's like your Skills USA. Some of those kind of events sometimes come up quickly, sort of the same way as an athletic trip might. And we did indicate that we'd like to follow our typical field trip procedures at this time for field trips that might, we say, incidentally arrive back into the area after midnight. Those trips are not automatically overnight trips. You know, if a trip might come in at 12:30, like very early in the morning.
Question. The kid that just went for welding, is that a field trip?
That would be considered a field trip.
That's a field trip. Thank you.
So am I to understand that if we approve this, then the individual trips are not brought before the board?
So the individual trips will still be brought by the normal procedures, but one of the things we've noticed is on occasion, we have a trip that just can't get back in, say before 12:30 or 1, and that's scheduled, it's not coming in late.
Right.
All right, but in that trip, we're currently calling it overnight, even though those students aren't
12:01.
staying in the hotel, right? So what we'd like to say is that it might be simpler for the board, if we just simply bring those to your attention when there's a hotel stay involved or something of that strike. We're looking at the policy itself. So the policy and the regulation is under revision right now. That will further clean this up, right? But this is just kind of a temporary measure until that's done, assuming the board wants to do that. Does that all make sense to everybody?
Yes. I'm remembering when I was coaching and we'd go someplace like Christiansburg, and I get home until quarter after 1 or 12 or whatever. That's not considered a field trip.
Well, it would be in this policy, that would be a VHSL trip, right? So it'd be a field trip in that sense, but the fact that it would be just coming in late would already be approved. It would move a step for you all out, if that's something you're comfortable with.
Thank you.
Okay. So we have, any other questions or concerns? If not, I will entertain a motion. I have a motion for approval by Mr. Franson. Do we have a second? Second by Mr. Umstead. Any further discussion? If not, Ms. Willis, roll call, please.
Mr. Ayers.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Franson.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Littleton.
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Morgan.
Yes.
Mr. Umstead.
Yes.
Mr. Woodson.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you very much. That brings us to 2608, informational items. We have division operational updates and board development materials, Google Suites training update, a follow-up on Virginia House Bill 2618, and kitchen resources update. Ms. Altman, anything there?
Happy to entertain any questions, of course, but the thing to note here is a couple of these are follow-up items from different things that we learned this spring, including a follow-up from January 31st. So just wanted to make sure folks are aware of that.
Any questions from Ms. Altman on those items?
I had one question about the Bill 2618. Is that funded in any way by the state, or is that left on your own accord?
I believe the appropriate answer is left on your own accord, but we have not yet received our official update of all the new legislation that goes into effect July 1. That'll probably arrive at the end of this week. So there could be a happy surprise, okay? I want to be candid about that, but I don't believe that necessarily comes with state funding.
Yes. Any other questions or discussion? Okay. Moving on then, item 2609, calendar information. July 3rd and 4th, of course, will be a holiday. All offices closed. July 21st is proposed regular and year-end closeout meeting. July 25th is the VSBA Conference on Education. Is that virtual or?
It is in the Richmond area.
Okay. August 6th is Convocation Day. Good Lord, that's only a little over a month away. And August 13th is the first day of school. Any other additions to that, Ms. Altman?
Good.
Okay. Moving on to item 2610, review of adult meal price increase. This is for information.
Good evening.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to go over this with you all. This is an annual requirement that we increase the price of adult meals so that school nutrition funds do not subsidize non-program meals. So the increase, it's a minimum that we're required to do. I have the calculation sheet attached with that to explain how it's done. On a positive note, I would like to say that I just received a couple hours ago that our application has been approved for this year. So that means we are CEP division-wide, and I haven't even gotten an opportunity to tell the superintendents, but I'm very excited. So that means, yeah, I'm sorry.
It's a surprise.
It's been a busy afternoon. But that means that all of our students will receive free breakfast and lunch. But these are the minimums that we are required to raise the prices. If you all have any questions, let me know, and then we will bring this back at July 21st for action. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Ms. Bell. That will bring us then to item 2611 and consider various board appointments. This is action. Ms. Salton?
Yeah, so Chairman Arrett and members of the board, we have a number of appointments to consider this evening that are considered in this section because these are other committees and roles you all as a board have determined that you'd like to have, or that we as a staff have suggested it would be very helpful. So you all have your new policy committee. That's the newly constituted committee that you all developed last month, approved that last month. To Mr. Littleton's earlier point, this is one that we would also suggest is a year-long appointment, like a school year appointment. We have, as a staff, requested to have a school board liaison for capital projects. That's just helpful to us. That's been something I know Mr. Littleton has done, and that's been very helpful. A school board member representative to the Student Health Advisory Board, which Melinda very capably takes care of, and Ms. Morgan has historically helped us out with that. And a school board member representative for our Safe Schools team. That's an interdisciplinary team that looks at school crisis preparedness of all stripes and everything under the sun safety related. Ms. Scruggs Duncan has served in those roles. I just want to mention those people who've served because I want to say thank you, because those are time commitments, and there's lots of rich discussion as needed in all of those groups, right? So I just want to acknowledge that to the board. As the privilege of the board, we need to appoint folks for those roles as appropriate.
So we can probably, clicking on that item there on the agenda, I think it'd probably be best for us to tackle them in order. So what we have listed there is School Board Policy Committee, and of course we need 2 members for that. I think previous discussions, Mr. Woodson expressed some interest. I expressed some interest in that. I'm happy to serve on that committee with Mr. Woodson.
I'd like to nominate Mr. Woodson and Mr. Ayers.
Okay.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Morgan and a second by Mr. Franson. Any other discussion there? Roll call, please, Mrs. Willis.
Mr. Ayers?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Franson?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Littleton?
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Morgan?
Yes.
Mr. Umstead?
Yes.
And Mr. Woodson?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Next would be the School Board Liaison for Capital Projects, and as Ms. Halterman said before, Mr. Littleton has served on this committee before. Don't mind telling you, I think you do a great job with that, if you'd be willing to serve again.
I'm happy to serve in that role again.
Okay.
I'd like to nominate Mr. Littleton for the liaison for capital projects. He's done a great job.
He has. A motion by Ms. Morgan, do we have a second? Second by Mr. Franson.
Would you be open to having 2 members on that particular item as well? Maybe not history, but I'll ask if we could have. I think John's done a great job too. Just obviously being a process engineer, I'm keenly interested in capital projects as well. So I just threw that out as a question.
Not wanting to make it too existential, I think that puts us in the question we're really asking is how many members do we need on committees? So
right.
I'm not sure I've had much thoughtful reflection on how many members we need. We can't have more than 2.
Correct.
Happy to have any board input on that. I'm not sure that there's
It's from when we made this, 2 years ago,
About
I
2 years
believe?
ago.
And basically, we really don't have meetings per se. It's normally, from my experience, say I'll use the tennis court project that we're looking at right now. Melinda might have a question about it, say, liquidated damages for the project. Some of the contracting or the contract verbiage in there, so she would call me and ask me, John, what do you think this means? Because with my business, that I work for municipalities, I'm very used to these contracts. So that's a lot of what that's been. So it's not really like we meet for a meeting, it's more or less a phone call of
Consult.
Consult.
right.
It's a consult.
And by no means the end of my train of thought, but just thinking about it a little bit, where the capital projects, and remember there's a name, it's a liaison.
Right.
So it's not as if Mr. Littleton is giving his early input or anything. It's really, I think, kind of thinking about it in comparison to the policy committee we just created. The policy committee kind of is incumbent upon the 2 members to provide some early input before it gets to the board level. Whereas with capital projects, it's more about having 1 member with the time and the inclination to be able, if the board needs to have some eyes and ears on the ground of a certain capital improvement project. I'm not certain that liaison needs to be 2 people, whereas the policy committee, I think it makes sense for it to be at least 2.
Okay.
That's just kind of my off-the-cuff thoughts on that, I suppose.
Because it would be very true, the same thing with the representative for Student Health Advisory Board. Because you're more or less just a liaison for that. Is that correct, Danielle? Because I know you've served as that in the past.
I
They
don't
meet,
think
but I
so,
don't
no,
even
no.
have to attend all of it.
And we do have, just for clarity, and I think you probably say this much better, but we have a variety of technical experts that we retain, right? We don't want to indicate that, you know, we have to have everyone working on the project, but it is helpful to have kind of a consultative voice, I like that word consult, or even just a little bit of clarity on, hey, what might be the board's position on this? Should we poll the board about this? That kind of thing.
And there's also been discussions at time at budget committee meetings about some of the capital needs of the division and how we're going to fund those. So there's kind of a little bit of, I guess, overlay between the groups about how we provide information.
Okay.
Okay, so that brings us back, I think, where we started then, so.
Motion and a second.
Yeah, we have a motion and a second for Mr. Littleton to continue to serve. Any other?
Who was the second?
Thank you,
Gerald.
Mr. Francis. Yeah, Mr. Francis. So when you're ready, roll call, please,
Mr. Eric?
Ms. Ross. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Francis?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Littleton?
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Morgan?
Yes.
Mr. Umstead?
Yes.
And Mr. Woodson?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you very much. That brings us to the school board member representative for Student Health Advisory Board, and Ms. Morgan had been.
I'm happy unless somebody else has a burning desire.
I don't see anybody else with a burning desire.
You are the medical expert among us.
Yes, I'm happy to do that.
All right.
So I make that motion.
All right, motion by Mr. Umstead, will we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Franson. Roll call, please.
Mr. Eric?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Francis?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Littleton?
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Morgan?
Yes.
Mr. Umstead?
Yes.
Mr. Woodson?
Yes, ma'am.
And the last of this block would be the school board member representative for the Safe Schools team. I'm just wondering, with Ms. Scruggs Duncan's absence, is administration feeling that we need to go ahead and make an appointment this evening, or is that something happy to entertain?
She was serving, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was
was
serving, and I
serving.
almost want to at least give her the opportunity to say one way or the other on that, unless, I mean, it's the will of the board.
Yeah, she
She
comes off.
She is coming off in 6 months, and this will be a year long.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and from our perspective, we can know tonight, we can know in the future, whatever is the prerogative of the board is okay.
I reckon the real question is, anyone here have a desire to do it?
I don't have the desire to do anything, but I will do it.
Okay. So we have at least some, I think that's willingness by Mr. Umstead.
Yeah.
Do we have a motion for Mr. Umstead?
I'll make a motion for Mr. Umstead.
Have a motion by Ms. Morgan. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Franson. Roll call, please, Ms. Willis.
Mr. Eric?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Francis?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Littleton?
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Morgan?
Yes.
Mr. Umstead?
Yes.
And Mr. Woodson?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I think that brings us to the end of that block. And I'm sorry, I'm trying to make sure that I'm still tracking here. I believe that then brings us to item 2626. Consider approval of superintendent's designees. This is an action item.
Yes, and Chairman Aaron and members of the board, we're bringing this to you just basically for clarity. You've recently approved the same list. We're just bringing it forward to you because we are reorganizing tonight. So basically you need to always have a sense of who is in charge and able to make a decision in any event, right? So you obviously have myself and Melinda working on that all the time. We're very fortunate in our school division to have 3 additional individuals who serve capably as superintendent designees in Allegheny County Public Schools, Covington City Public Schools, and/or Allegheny Highlands Public Schools, and really they've all continued on in Allegheny Highlands. And that's Sherman and Shannon and Fred, who all do an outstanding job with anything we ask them to do. So it would be our recommendation that all of us be able to serve as needed. If somebody's absent, we need to make a decision.
Is this one of those appointments where we could just ask that it be for the school year?
It
is?
Correct.
So this is not going to change in January?
And that's a really helpful clarification. Yeah, I would absolutely recommend it be for the school year. We can always kind of share who those designees are at reorganization, because I think whenever we have any kind of delay, even accidentally on reorganization, we just need to clarify kind of who's available. The other thing that's a helpful clarification is this doesn't stop, say us appointing someone to be our representative on a certain area. So I see Ms. Buckner in my line of sight, right? So she's obviously acting on our behalf of school nutrition all the time, right? But this is for very formal functions that you might need someone with the title superintendent to do.
So I make a recommendation, but it'd be for the school year.
That makes sense? Good sense?
So motion by
Motion,
Mr.
yes.
Umstead, and do we have a second?
You okay?
We have to do it as part of
Oh,
the
we do?
board.
Okay, we have to do it first. Okay,
So we'll
it'll
have
be
to do
next.
it again in January,
Okay.
but it's part of the reorganization process. It's in the policy.
Sorry.
Thank you.
That's all
I'm
right.
not big
Thank you.
on policies.
Thank you, Karen,
I
for
just
always.
read it today, so.
Thank you all, Karen, for always keeping us straight.
Yep. We all thought that.
So my
Thank you,
motion
Karen.
is until January.
But it sounds like the will of the board is to try to preserve
Right.
continuity. I like
All
it.
right, we'll
Okay.
make it a little easier next time. How about that? But we do have a motion by Mr. Umstead. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Morgan. Roll call, please, Ms. Williams.
Mr. Arick.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Franklin.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Littleton.
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Morgan.
Yes.
Mr. Umstead.
Yes.
And Mr. Woodson.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, that brings us to then, we have several policy revisions. And I'm just wondering, is it the will of the board? Do we want to go through these, each one, or do we want to consider them as a block?
If we
Because
could do a block as well.
I would prefer a block
Can
unless
I ask-
anybody's got some.
Can I ask a question before you do that? In the future, we have two people that are gonna look at these and bring them to us, right? So when they bring them to us as a can they ask us to vote on it, like you said, a block? Because if they bring it to us and said it's all right.
Well, and that would be my preference too, and I mean, I'm sure you all have taken a look through this on the clickable links and things. It seems like, correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Altman, Ms. Johnson, what we've got here is a lot of language changes because of code changes, right? So really, there's nothing controversial.
That's the substance of all of them. I mean, that's a general statement. I always want to say, we definitely, I know the board's already looked at the memos. I know we discussed them in June, right? I understand that. But just, especially for anybody who's listening to the meeting recording later or something like that, all that information is still available online. Some of it can be slightly more complicated than just a language update, but in general, it's a basic update for compliance purposes, yes.
I think 95% of the policies are probably non-eventful. Sure. And there's probably another 5% that cause me a great deal of heartburn. And so, yeah, I think that's where we're kind of at on these. I didn't see anything that caused me a great deal.
And to Mr. Umstead's point, I would agree with you, Mr. Umstead, that as we go forward, what I envision the policy subcommittee doing is identifying, like, we'll help chew through a lot of the chaff. We'll bring the wheat to the board to make sure that these very substantive things have the discussion that they deserve. But to be quite honest, this happens year in and year out where we have semantic changes in our code just to keep up. So if it is the will of the board, I'll entertain a motion for items 2612 through 2619 to be considered as a block.
I'll make it very clear. I motion we approve approval of DJF, purchasing procedures, policy section E, support services, policy section F, facilities development, section G, personnel, policy I, instructional services, policy J, students, policy section K, school community relations, and section L, education agency relations, just so there's no questions.
Yes, ma'am. Second. Have a motion by Ms. Morgan, second by Mr. Franson. Any further discussion or questions?
Oh, very well put.
Roll call, please, Ms. Williams.
Mr. Arick.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Franklin.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Littleton.
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Morgan.
Yes.
Mr. Umstead.
Yes.
And Mr. Woodson.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, very good. Brings us to other business, item 2620, and I did not miss any additions, did I, Ms. Hoffman?
I think we're
Ms.
good. We
Willis?
got the vote.
Okay, thank
Yep.
you very much. That would then bring us to community participation, 2521. Do we have any public comments?
We have no one signed up.
Nobody wants to? Okay. Then we're on to 2522, school board member and superintendent comments. So, should I spin a wheel, or does anybody want to volunteer? Ms. Morgan?
Why not?
Ms. Morgan.
Thank you to those who came out tonight. Thank you to everybody who served previously. it's kind of a bittersweet meeting as we have folks coming off and know we'll have new folks coming on. It's kind of the end of the era. My heart hurts, especially sitting looking at Mr. Franson. So it's going to definitely not be the same. So thank you for your service and all you've done. And I know we'll have you to the end of the year, but I just feel like I need to say that. Congratulations to everybody who was elected. Appreciate everybody's willingness to be a part of the team. Also want to thank Ms. Thompson for her update. I know it's definitely a team effort and the timing couldn't have been better. I know it's a horrible situation, but at least it was in the summer, and I know we're going to learn something from it as we do every real event. I'm sure there'll be an after-action review, and there'll be all kinds of fun stuff that comes out of it. But thank you for addressing the board and thinking the community, because we do depend in the Highlands solely pretty much on volunteers. So it's very important that we take the time to thank them. And the students coming to congratulate Ms. Work was very heartwarming, and she's definitely made a lasting impact, and that's so great to see. So I believe that's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Morgan. I'll skip around here a little bit, Mr. Franson. Sure.
Too, I want to thank everybody who came in. And John, you did a good job, buddy. Good job as chairman. You did an excellent job, and we appreciate that. And thank you too, Tracy. But I want to congratulate, what is it, Ms. What is her name? Warwick. To get that award is awesome. You know that? And I wish she was here. But the thing that impresses me most is the legacy she's leaving. You notice the kids, staff, everybody, you know, said what a good job she did. And that means a lot. And that's all we all have, is what we leave behind. Good, bad, or ugly, you know. And that's our job as school board members, is to leave our school system in a better position than when we got here. That should be our goal. Ms. Thompson, thank you. Thank you for all the your work. Thank you for keeping them together. Okay. And you know, our firefighters, our first responders, our staff. What a job y'all do. We thank you for that. Okay, all of you. You all. If we could do above and beyond, we'd have a heck of a list every time. For all the people who have to, you know, just work countless hours, give to all they have. You know, that's a lot. But and I thank you for that. I thank all of you. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Franson. Mr. Woodson.
Yes, sir. Again, John, nice job. It was the toughest few months that I've had in my tenure as a school board member, and I thought you handled it well. Good job. Congratulations to Mr. Eric on his appointment as chairman. Look forward to working with you this coming period. And I'd like to start off by saying good job just nicely with the issue that we suffered through. You know, things happen. We've experienced that over the last year, I guess, but you handled it well, and I thought you communicated very well. And being here today to double down with that communication, I think goes a long way, not only to the folks in this room, but also the public in general. So thank you. We just approved policy section J, which includes a section under student conduct, JFC, and I hope everyone can reread that when they get a chance. But I think we still, I see an opportunity for us to double down our efforts in regards to character, in regards to bullying that seems to continue to occur, and I'd like for us to think about how we address that individually. Come up with some ideas on things that we might be able to change or affect to improve that situation in our schools. So I'd like to challenge us all to come back and and actually purposely think about that and work towards that. If kids are in school and feel safe and feel belonging, I think it goes a long way to their education. And right now, I feel as if there's a gap in our schools, and I'd be curious to see if we can come up with some ideas. I think we're collectively much stronger than we are individually coming up with the right answer. So that's all I have for this one.
Thank you, Mr. Boyce. Ms. Johnstead?
Yes. This might be the most pleasant time I've talked in a while. I got a booklet that had the SOL scores in it. They're not outstanding. But considering the nightmare we've gone through in the past 3 or 4 years, probably not bad. I would like to see us start a group of people that worked on helping people improve their teaching skills to help teach. I get to talk to a ton of people, and then people tell me, well, they don't call me. And I told one person the other day, I wonder why they don't call you. Did you ever stop and think about why they don't? And why they call me? And the lady said, I never thought of that. I said, would you actually do something about it? That's a good point. If teachers need help, I think we've got to help them. We've got to find a way for them to tell us. I teach math. I got a book. I have trouble in the classroom. I don't know what to do. And we close the door and say, get it done. I think we're past the time of people relying on themselves to get it done if you don't have the skills. Math to me is the easiest subject in the world to teach. I'm going to boast. I have 6 kids. It took 27 SOL tests in math. The lowest score they had was 525. Because I taught math 4 days a week at home. Math is simple. And kids heard me say this. What's 4 plus 4? 8. It never changes. Why do we make it difficult? And Mallory, I'm going to tell you this. If I hear this from a teacher, I'm going to have them write down what they said. I used to hear teachers say, God, we got the best part, fun part of the day over with. Now get out your math books and let's go through math. It's not difficult. But if you plant the seed that it is, it will be. Our job is to plant seeds of positivity and positive. I will gladly go into anybody's room if I have the permission. No, I don't need permission. I'll gladly go into anybody's room and help them teach math. It's not hard. It is not hard. We make it more difficult. You know what I'm talking about, because you and I talked about this. There's a plan coming up sometime this upcoming year dealing with math. The same thing I'm saying. Don't make it difficult, make it simple. Make it simple. And I don't know about you guys, but I love this format of us looking each other in the face and talking. I don't like the fact there are people behind me, but I can live with that. But I like this, to look at Gerald and you guys, and we talk. This is the most we've talked as a group in a long time, because we're not lined up in a line.
Gerald might not like looking at you and me. I don't know.
Well, I guess he's not. He's not. So I really thank the board for how this meeting was handled. It was handled very well. Not everybody's going to agree. What we have to agree on is when it's done, we do what's best for the kids. Amen. And if we don't, I'm going to call us out. Mallory knows if she does something that I don't like, I'm going to tell her. That's all there is to it. And believe it or not, 9 times out of 10, she appreciates it. Especially when she's got her daughter with her and I'm being nice with her. This is a good meeting, and I really appreciate this. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Armstead. Mr. Littleton.
Start off and congratulate Ms. Warwick. That's quite the award, and as Mr. Francis said, leaving quite the legacy. And hopefully we'll be fortunate enough to get to see more of her in the future. Ms. Thompson, I want to thank you, and please thank your staff and everyone that helped in your incident. And it takes the village, and it's times like that that I'm very proud to say that I'm from this community, and that we're in a very good community. I mean, there's a lot of good, caring people around here that take their shirt off the back to help anyone. As I know the old saying goes, or I used to like to say, I don't mind helping anyone who wants to help themselves. But also too, want to thank our administration for all their hard work they're going throughout summer. I know it must be tough to still be coming to work every day when some of your peers are not, but hopefully some of those days are a little bit easier and not quite as chaotic as some of them can be. And I'm sure it's Christina, you know, yours probably aren't quite as hectic right now since you're not having to try to schedule buses to cover here and there. And thank you for all your hard work throughout the year and doing that, because that's a very tough job. It really is. Might as well while we're here. Shane, thank you for all of your hard work with all of our capital projects and transportation, and getting up early in the morning and driving the roads looking for snow and ice and all of the above. I mean, fortunately for us, we have someone who's willing to put in the hard work, but unfortunately for Shane, I know it's a lot of times he leaves the house in the morning before the sun comes up and gets home well after the sun goes down. And Ms. Buckner, we want to thank you for all of your hard work and everything you've carried through with our meals for our kids and their nutrition, and coming up with creative ideas with the middle school to get everyone food, and good food, not just a sandwich. Thank you very much for going above and beyond. Fred, thank you very much for all of your hard work. I know you day in, day out, and unfortunately you're probably one of the people who gets some of the not so nice phone calls for your position, but you do very well with it, and we're very fortunate to have you. We're very fortunate to have everybody in this room. And any teachers out there that are at home, hope you're enjoying your vacation over the summer. Enjoy it. Won't be too long. We'll be back to the grind again. But that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Littleton. Ms. Altman?
Well, it is. We're still celebrating the conclusion of one school year, and here we are looking at August 13th, coming fast. So, you know, we thank everybody for their hard work. I think it's still time to celebrate the previous school year, even while we gear up for our next school year. And we echo sentiments from the board this evening about all the service that we've seen from all our staff, our students, their families. That is really, really impressive. We thank the board for leading the way on that. This is a good time of the year to remind you all of that. Obviously, it's an important responsibility, but we do appreciate your hard work, even when that's just keeping up with a lot of communications that you have to read through and make sure you know. We know it's not easy. To John and Gerald, I think both Melinda and I said that being vice chair and chair was not usually all that difficult. And this year, there were a lot of interesting responsibilities on those positions. So we really appreciate you hanging in there with us and keeping things moving and keeping communication moving. And we really appreciate your service very, very much. We want to say thank you. I want to join in the thank yous to Ms. Thompson and her team. When the phone rings at 5 in the morning, it's not usually great. But in the summertime, you're really not expecting it to ring at 5 in the morning when you're Melinda and I. And we were working on this within minutes, but gracious, y'all were already taking care of things. And so it was really incredible. And all of the people that you mentioned so graciously that came to that aid, it was very impressive. Like I did actually take some photos just because it was really neat to see that amazing team effort, and moving that much water that quickly could not have happened without a response from each and every one of our schools. So it was truly incredible. We're so proud of Sarai Warwick. We don't know what to do. She really has made a really positive difference for our kiddos, and she's done a lot of things that are above and beyond her role. So we're looking forward to her successes in the future as well. I'm trying to make sure I don't forget anything here. I want to point out two things that just might be helpful. Mr. Umstead was mentioning a math piece, and board members, as you're aware, there's a training that you can opt to attend. It's a virtual training that occurs in October that a group's providing for a large number of school divisions, but it's got some new math research in it, and that's what you and I were talking about there. So that may be something other members of the boards are interested in, so we wanted to highlight that for you. The research is really interesting if you like educational research. So it will be an interesting presentation. And then also wanted to quickly highlight that our board members tonight have a book that is a gift from the students actually at Mountain View Elementary School. And you have different editions of it. And Mr. Umstead already, I believe, picked up his, but there are books about what the children want to be when they grow up. And they're awesome. They're just really fun to look at. There are 4 different books, so you can trade them around if you'd like, but it's our first graders telling us what they might like to be and drawing about that. And it's really interesting to think back to first grade and enjoy those. And the kids really invested in this project, and they're really proud for you to have a copy of their books. So please enjoy that.
Thank you very much, Ms. Hodgman. Well, there's been a lot of good things said. Mr. Franson, I suppose you don't want me to repeat all of the good things, do you? I should just echo that?
Did you?
So I will say ditto to all the thanks and congratulations to everybody. With the possible exception, I think Mr. Gleason might have been left out. So thank you, Mr. Gleason. Just being thorough, I want to make sure you were properly thanked for your hard work.
Can I add Miss LeMaster in transportation?
Yes, and I think, John, you did mention Christina and as a block there, but yes.
Sorry, Darryl.
Well, with all the
the
transportation issues, you can't be thanked enough that you can't miss. So thank you, Mr. Master. I won't go on and keep us here any longer, but Gerald said something that kind of struck me, something that my dad used to say. Whenever we were out and about somewhere doing something, cleaning up or whatever, he would always say he always liked to leave a place a little bit better than he found it. And I think if we're looking at the biggest picture of all, that's what we're all here to do, is to leave public education in the Allegheny Highlands a little bit better than we found it. So I think we have done that. Great credit to Mr. Littleton and Mr. Franson for helping steer us through that. And I think we will continue to make public education better than what we found it. So thank you very much for everybody here tonight. Session, Code Virginia 2.2-3711A. Potential appointments, assignments, resignations, terminations, and salaries. 2.2-3711A7. Legal matters, discussions, briefings by staff members pertaining to actual or probable litigation. And 2.2-3711A10. Discussion or consideration of recognitions and special awards. Do I have a motion to enter closed session?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Morgan, second by Mr. Franson. Roll call, please.
Mr. Ayers?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Franson?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Littleton?
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Morgan? Yes. Mr. Umstead?